Welcome back to another episode of Complete Human Performance Radio. We have both the hosts of this particular podcast show, whatever, depending on where you're watching it, whether it be YouTube or on as a podcast. I am Anthony Razio, and to one of my sides is Ariana Scalfo. Ariana, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
We are sitting 3,000 miles apart, but virtually here together. Right?
No.
That we are. And today we thought we have a couple events coming up, CHP does, and we thought we'd chat about those events and sort of ways you can prepare for them. We'd love to have as many people as possible participate. We've tried to make the sort of thresholds for participation very low in both cases. So you don't need to be, think you need to be some sort of fantabulous athlete. I do these things. Look at me. I'm a wreck.
You PR'd your deadlift. I will fight you.
Well, for the last decade and a half, I PR'd it, which is still good.
I've only been lifting for a decade. Don't do this to me.
So Ariana, why don't you tell our guests about the event we have coming up here in early July? So just a few days after this podcast goes live.
Aye, Captain. So we are hosting the No Lone Wolves virtual run and ruck. It is a virtual race with three distances. Wow, talking 5K, half marathon, and full marathon. You can run it, which includes walking. So you can walk, run, hike, whatever, or you can ruck it. And saying ruck like this many times is already getting me giggly. So ruck it, I'm going anyway. But to ruck it, you have to wear the prescribed weights for that. So it's 50 pounds for men, 35 pounds for women. And then you would just wear that on your back. You can use a regular backpack if you don't have a weight vest or a special rucksack. All that we are going to ask, we will be sending out submission guidelines. All that we are going to ask is that you just send a picture or a video of you weighing the pack on like a body weight scale, or like dropping a 35-pound plate into it or something, just to show us. I mean, it's mostly on good faith. And then all the proceeds from that are being donated to the California Wolf Center, which is a place where Alex and I both volunteer. They are major actors in the rehabilitation of the Mexican gray wolf. And then they are also rehabilitating North American gray wolves. They have a mating pair. So yeah, Alex and I head out there all the time, and we volunteer in person, and then we do as much as we can for them. So all proceeds from this run are going to go toward them. But the cool way that we're going to try and pay back to the community as well with this. So we're going to donate as much as we can to the Wolf Center. And then also the top 5 places for each category are going to get free entry into the Crucible. So if you get first, second, third, fourth, or fifth in any distance, the half marathon, full marathon, the 5K, ruck or run, free ticket into the Crucible. So that's kind of how we're going to help everyone who participates and does well. We're going to be like, hey, you should definitely be in the Crucible because you're going to crush it. So that runs from July 4th to the 18th. So you can do your submission literally anytime over those. I think that's 3 weeks. So yeah,
short, so it's 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's super chill. You just kind of show up, run, walk, whatever. July is hot in some places, so I've been recommending that people that live in hotter areas choose the shorter distance. Just treat it like a training run and not die. But yeah, I'm super excited about it. I've got all of my clients doing it and just talking about how they're using it, whether it's like a training run or an opportunity to PR a distance they haven't tried in a while. It's just been super fun for all of us to pick how we're going to use it.
There you go. What is the registration cost if people are curious?
So it's $50 to register, and most of that's getting donated. That's just covering, again, we're just trying to donate as much as humanly possible. So most of the entry fee is donated, and then if you want a shirt and another like swag pack, because they have a bunch of like really adorable wolf stuff that they sell there. Like I don't know if you guys have ever seen me wear the wolf shirt. Like I got that there. They have like wolf backpacks. I'm just going to be sending everyone who purchases a shirt a bunch of other random wolf stuff as well. And then so the shirt is like I just want a swag bag extra purchase. But again, anything extra from that is just donated directly to the Wolf Center as well. And then if you don't want to participate, but you just want to donate, we have a donate button. So there's like a couple different ways, but $50 if you want to participate, which is cool because the Crucible will be a little bit more this year. So essentially, if you purchase this ticket for $50, you will end up saving money if you get free entry into the Crucible.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a good deal. I think it's, it's an easy event where it's, because of the various distances, I think it's easy enough to have it as a training run, or like an easy, like, oh, let's just do this for fun and see what happens, which is pretty much probably what I'm going to end up doing. See if my foot doesn't fall off.
Same.
And then, also, other people can definitely take it as a, hey, I'm in good shape, but, it's been basically peaking out. Let's see what I can do. Throw down a time. So definitely, I think a good sort of way to check where you are, whether that's in a training run or, an actual A-level kind of race approach to it.
Yeah. And I think especially going into the Crucible, like you and I were just talking about, it's like what, 16 weeks away?
We are, so July, August, September, and Crucible runs in October. So, so that's roughly 13 weeks there from when this podcast will go live, plus, like 4 weeks in October. So we're 16 weeks to probably about 1 week left in October. So basically like a perfect sort of training cycle length. And also the length of the Crucible template that we put out at the end of last year. So if you are looking to do this Crucible, we'll describe for those of you that maybe have tuned into us since we did this last year, as I wore my Crucible shirt here. It's almost like that was planned, which it was. We'll tell you, we'll explain what the Crucible is in a second, but it's like our new big event for the year. That its inaugural year was last year, but something we plan on running continuously each year. And if you're looking for a way to train it, the template is an excellent template, and it will, if you're just looking for sort of a general, way to get there in all the various modalities, the template will get you there. At least get you improved in pretty much all the modalities.
Or at least like help you manage to like just practicing all the different stuff.
There's a lot. So Ariana, why don't you describe for people that may be new and don't are like, what is this Crucible you're talking about? Sounds like some sort of religious phenomenon. And to that I say, kneel at the altar of CHP.
We're gonna get in trouble for that somehow.
Most likely, yes. But yeah, why don't you describe what the Crucible is for new listeners out there?
Captain. All right. So the Crucible, the way we ran it last year, several things will be changed this year just based on feedback from last year, because we took all of your feedback very seriously. So that will be unveiled as we move forward. The biggest thing is going to be actually that it's going to be hosted on Competition Corner and not run sign up, so that the scoring and everything will be much more accurate. The leaderboard will be much more accurate as everyone enters their scores. So there will be less waiting. We're still going to have to verify everything, but at least in this case, like the leaderboard will be mostly right. So I'm super excited about that because that was a lot of work last year. And the Crucible is a event that Alex came up with that covers like the extremes of hybrid fitness. Because there's challenges like the 5-5-5 challenge, where it's like 500-pound squat, 500-pound deadlift, 5-minute mile. People have condensed it into like 5-minute mile, 500-pound deadlift. But what Alex and I have talked about a lot is that a lot of these events people choose them not only because they sound cool, but because they self-select. Like it's not that they reward absolute athletic brilliance, they still reward some measure of specificity. So we were looking for just like, how do we build an event that finds the most insane athlete out there? Like, so the events will cover the extreme end of strength. It'll cover the extreme end of endurance, the extreme end of sprint speed, sprint capacity, and then the extreme end of like muscular endurance and the ability to move weight in a little bit more non-conventional way. So the first portion is the super total, which is your heaviest back squat, heaviest deadlift, heaviest bench press, heaviest clean and jerk, and heaviest snatch. So it's 5 lifts added together, ergo super total. And then we'll have the 2 divisions again. So it's going to be scaled and pro. Scaled division, the endurance event will be 2 hours again. So it's a 2-hour foot race or bike race with a scaling metric available for translating bike distance to running. And then for pro, it's 6 hours. So it's a 6-hour foot race or bike race. So again, everything's changed to run miles. So it does actually behoove you to try and find a way to run. Or if you're a really strong cyclist, just cycle your heart out on a flat. So then after that, and you can do these in any order over the course of the entire month of October. There is a Wingate test, which is a 30-second max sprint.
I believe so. I didn't do it last year. I skipped that because I didn't have access to a Wingate easily.
I don't
So I
remember
just
if it's
didn't do
30
it.
or 50.
I think it's 30. It's 30.
But it's like average wattage over that brief period, max wattage averaged out over the course of those 30 seconds. And that's your score. That one's going to change a little bit because we found that certain types and brands of assault bike or air bike were slightly more rewarding with calories than others just based on how they were calibrated. So we're going to try and find a way around that to the best of our ability this year, just because we know that not everyone has access to the best like air bike. So that'll be one that might get changed a little bit, but we did have it available for bike and rower. And then the last one is the 30-minute kettlebell half marathon long cycle. So that's basically with one hand, not this hand, with one hand alternating. You'll be doing kettlebell clean and jerks for 30 minutes. And just as an example for how many like kettlebell clean and jerks people managed, with 73 pounds, that's the weight for men, right?
Yeah, it's heavy.
Alec got 104. Lorraine was women's pro with a 45-pound kettlebell. She got 210. Heather Lawrence and Stacy Hugabritzi. Oh my God, Stacy, I just ruined your name. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Stacy.
Sorry, Stacy. I think you're great. Heather got 373 and Stacy got 332. Yeah.
What did what's his face do? I'm forgetting his name. Oh my God. The one guy did like $1 million it wasn't Alec, but he because his other totals weren't that high, but he did like 300.
Oh, wait, let me find it. He's up here.
Yeah. I feel terrible. We're not gonna give his name out.
No. His Ross Gilbert. He's the one who actually wrote our video and wrote all of the training materials for the half marathon.
That's why I wanted to make sure we said who he was, because I was like, that guy was great.
He's amazing. Yeah, he did.
Cool dude. Follow him on Instagram. He's great.
Yeah, he puts up so much good stuff. Yeah, he did 112 more reps than anyone else. So kind of crazy. You should definitely watch this video. Just
so you people know out there, because it's not 30 minutes necessarily. It's just it's 30 minutes max time. But if you stop earlier, you're done. So if you did 2 and you put the weight down, you're done.
Yeah.
So
it's got to be continuous.
Up to 30 minutes. If you can make it a full 30 minutes continuously, good for you, apparently.
Right. So just to give examples of like some of the runs that we saw in pro, and then I can show people what we saw in scaled. For men, Alec, who won,
40.
He ran
like
40 miles in 6 hours. Shanna, I I've spoken to her and I feel like every single time I pronounce her name wrong. I'm dyslexic. I swear to God. But like between my eyes and my mouth. I know what it says, I just can't say it. She got 36
Jesus.
and she'd never run before.
Oh, thank you for making me feel terrible about my
She's like, I'm just
performance.
gonna go out and run for as far as I can and then whatever. Lorraine spent 6 hours on an assault bike.
Oh God, that sounds awful.
It was. And then for men, scaled, our winners did about a half marathon in 2 hours, but we did
think there
have
was, like-
one gentleman got to 14.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I remember seeing like 14 and 15.
Nuts. And then for women, again, half marathons in about 2 hours. And then let's see, this is all in kilograms, but we had some super totals in the men's between 670 and 770. And then women's, we had some 500 kilo super totals, which was just rad. And then amazingly, actually, in the men's scaled, super totals were still above 600. We actually had a 700-pound super total and scaled. And then in women's, again, Heather Lawrence, her super total was 474. So, and that's kilos. So like,
Yeah.
we just had some freaks show up from out of nowhere and like all over the world. I was sending out shirts to Saudi Arabia,
Oh, that's cool.
Ireland, Scotland, the UK, like all over. So it was just really cool. I'm excited. We had over 100 people last year. So I'm excited to see.
Yeah, so I would say, having done it last year, and even though I didn't do two of the things because I was lazy and didn't have access and refused to go out of my way.
I'm with you, man.
I want, I know we're throwing these numbers out, and I know these numbers can be very intimidating, right? You can hear these numbers and be like, why would I do this? There's no way I'm going anywhere close to 40 miles in 6 hours. I'm not, my super total is not gonna be anywhere near those numbers that, Ariana just put out there. The way we've talked about in the previous podcast, but I think it's worth reiterating here. It's a good metric for tracking your progress over your career lifetime, right? And just how fitness might change for you over time. Like maybe early on you're really into strength, and then maybe over time you realize, the strength work loses interest for you and you shift more to endurance, or vice versa. For me, it was something, Ariana knows this because I texted her like literally 2 minutes after it happened.
Yay.
My deadlift was not what I wanted it to be in the Crucible. It was fine for what I've been training at, but I wanted it to be higher. And now I'm roughly 20 pounds heavier, as of this week, and that's, it's just something I wanted to work on, and I've worked on it. My bench is probably up as well. So, it gives you, it points out neat places for improvement in areas that maybe you want to improve in areas that, maybe it's not your expertise and you have no interest in kettlebell long cycling. I don't have interest in kettlebell long cycling, right? Because my name isn't Ross Gilbert, but it's something it's kind of cool. Like, so this year, my plan is to actually try it. And if I do one or two, I'll probably be like, hey, I did one or two. I didn't do any last year. That's an improvement, right?
Yeah.
So view it as a marker.
It gives you so much respect for other disciplines too. Like if you come into this as a purely strength athlete and you know that your super total is going to crush, but you've never run before, like the way the scoring works, you have to do all the events, but also like it just gives you such tremendous respect for all the other different kinds of athletes that are going to be participating, because you're going to have some excellent, insane runners, and you're going to be like, that number 40 miles isn't going to make sense to you until you run your guts out for 6 hours and make it to 29, and you're like, oh, now it makes sense. Like that guy's a freak. Like, so maybe your super total exceeded his, but it gives you such a tremendous respect for the fitness that he's spent time on or she's spent time on, and you're like, either you're like, I want a little bit of that, or like, I think I could have more of that, or you're like, that's rad, I'm not doing it. But it's such a fun learning experience. But with the way the scoring works, I think Alex and I released a video last year, which you can still watch. I think it's in the YouTube, where we discussed all the final scores and like standout
It's
performances.
still up there.
Yeah, cool. So like if you really want to get a closer look at how the scoring works and everyone's points, that would be a good video to watch, because Alex actually discusses individual performances and stuff. My mom did the Crucible last year and she's in her 50s, and like this year has been super, super hard for her. My dad did the Crucible too, and he just had spine surgery. And both of them are excited to do it again this year, because it's
That's
just
so cool.
it's something to focus on. And they're like, we don't care about beating anything from last year. We just want to be healthy enough to participate again. Like, your goal can be that. Like, I don't know. I'm so proud of them. But like in general, like that's the vibe. It's just, let's all go try
Kumbaya.
something new.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with all that. And so, yeah, I'll probably try and convince Maria to do it. I tried last year, it didn't work. I'm gonna try again this year.
What if you guys did doubles? We're doing doubles again.
Ariana, I might recruit you to recruit my wife to be on my team. So
I'm really convincing.
I know. Put you to work. But yeah, no, I think it's fun. And it's one of the things I think I like about it is, it's in October. So it's a time when a lot of races happen. And something that we did last year is that, you can use, like, if you're competing in a powerlifting event, there are powerlifting meets in October, like those totals count.
Yeah.
Right? You can use
through
those
the whole
in
month.
Crucible. Yeah. And so, or if you've got like an ultra marathon you're doing, you're like, well, basically, it counts for 2 events. That's cool with us. We don't care, as long as we just have the data from your watch or whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. And it's kind of thing too, where if it's an ultra where it's going to take you 4 hours and you have no interest in running 6 and you don't care about winning, you can just submit your 4. Like, we don't care. Like, we are here for you. You can use this vessel of a competition however you see fit. Like, we don't care. Or you can be like me and Anthony and skip half the events and then just be like, okay, we're done.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, again, it's sort of, as I talked about in the previous podcast, I think it's knowing, where, what are you interested in? And also knowing what do you have the fitness and sort of fitness to do things safely with, right? Like last year, would I, even if I had a 73-pound kettlebell, like how safe was it really going to be for me to do more than attempt more than 2 or 3 reps? Right. Like, I mean, I really just don't have, the experience with a kettlebell where I should, smartly, I probably should not be like throwing that above my head. Now this year I'll probably ignore all that, not train it all year and then do it. But, you have to keep that in mind.
You have to make the smartest bad decision you can.
Exactly. Right. And like I did the pro last year. I shouldn't have, but I did. And, the 6-hour event, I went all 6 hours. Like, did I stop and take like half an hour breaks? Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, I was so impressed with you. You got 20 miles, right?
No, I think I was like 17. My glutes gave out at like hour 2. So I had like 4 hours of no glutes.
20 in my heart.
No, it was like 17.
Okay.
I'll get 20 this year.
Yeah.
I'll get 20 this year. That's the plan. If I get 20 this year, I'll be happy.
I got back from doing the Spartan Games.
Yeah, you were just on Spartan Games. You were a mess.
Yeah.
You were
a mess. I had rhabdo and I still was like, I want to do my super channel. So I like go to the gym, barely recovered. I hit like 30% under all of my lifts. And then the following day, because I have a big old brain, a big brain. This is sarcasm. I did a 1.6 mile loop for 6 hours and experienced the worst foot and leg pain of my life that I have not experienced since. I'm pretty sure it was my entire beating body being like, just lay down.
Just stop.
I did 25 miles, but the whole time I was texting Alex and I was like, I don't think this is smart.
This is not one of my smarter decisions.
dumb. Am I hurting myself permanently? And Alex was like, probably.
I plead the fifth.
So yeah,
Yeah.
don't be like me, but on the same token, you don't have to be perfect. Like,
I mean, it's at the very least, this is something I was talking about. I was consulting with a client the other day, and this is something I brought up with him, and I brought up with many clients before. When people, if you start to ask yourself, "Hey, should I do this event?" It looks intriguing. If you ask yourself that question, the answer is yes. You should.
you're already interested.
You're already in. At the very least, you walk away with a cool story, right? You walk away with an experience. Life, as I've gotten older, your perspective changes. To me, life is very much about stories and experiences, right? That's what you accumulate. You accumulate stories and experiences. And it's how many competitions are you going to win, right? Some people out there are going to win a lot. Most of us not going to win any, right? That's okay. Like that's okay. That's fine.
This is one of the few competitions out there, and this is not a dig at Alec because he's incredible, but it does reward being kind of above mediocre, but at everything. Like you can't be the best lifter and the best runner, but you can be pretty good at both.
Yeah.
Like I think that's what Alec nailed with this, was that
he's very good at many things.
Yeah, he's super good at many things. But if you look at the final scores, the only thing he won was the run.
The run, I think. Yeah. Everything else he did not win. He was up there and everything, obviously.
Yeah.
But he wasn't.
But I mean, there was a super total. James in second, his super total was 100 kilos more than Alex. So it really just goes to show that specificity and training isn't necessarily a reward in this. This is for the people who truly don't like to pick. So,
what would you like to do? All of this.
All of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm hoping, this year, especially with an established tiebreaker, a better competition platform and stuff, we can continue to work the niggles out and the kinks and really figure out how to make this competition measure what we want it to measure, actually encapsulate that weird ragged edges of fitness on everything. Not just how far can you run in 4 hours, but we gonna make it 6. Not just how much you can lift in these lifts, but also clean and jerk. We're just being rude about all of it, and I'm excited.
Yeah. It's like ultra marathoners and powerlifters got together with CrossFitters and said, "Hey, let's make a event."
Yeah, and it didn't turn into OCR. Because I feel like that's the other natural.
Yeah.
This time, you still get to lift the barbell, which yay. But yeah, I was so excited. Last year too, the thing I loved the most was our Instagram grew, our community grew so much because people were seeing other athletes and their names pop up and their performances and stuff and adding each other and Lorraine, who I'm working with now, she was like, I didn't even know that this existed. I didn't know that hybrid athletics was a thing and that I could lift and run and be good at both. She came in second place. It was just so cool to see all these people arrive, look around and be like, oh, I'm not alone in this. There are people out here doing this with me and we're all going to have some fun together, which is actually the purpose of the name for the No Lone Wolves competition. Especially when you're a hybrid athlete, we're rarely a part of run groups and we're rarely a part of lifting groups. A lot of us kind of lift on our own and run on our own and do our own thing. But we're not alone. There's thousands of us all over the globe. And I think just watching people realize that over the course of the Crucible last year was one of the most rewarding parts for me. It's I see y'all, I talk to all of you, but you guys need to see each other and get inspired by each other because there's some really cool people out there doing some really cool things. And it's just, I don't know, that's what made me so stoked last year. I was like, who are these people?
Yeah, no, it's really cool to see. And I think there is again, as you mentioned earlier, just seeing the different backgrounds people are coming from, endurance athletes and ultra marathoners and people that are clearly coming from powerlifting background or, bodybuilding, I guess in my case, and,
Yeah,
various
the
other
kettlebell
things.
people blew my
Yeah,
mind.
yeah. There was a group I did not know it really existed that much. I know.
Animals.
Yeah.
Animals, absolute animals.
Yeah, it was insane. Insane.
They scare me.
Very, very cool. So I'm sure Ariana and I will both be doing it again. Since we're kind of right at like the 3 months out from the start of October, I'll probably start ramping up my training for it. Like I said, my strength is actually really good right now. My endurance is not. But I'll probably tag some stuff on Instagram, as I'm sure Ariana was. She runs the CHP Instagram and does a great job of that. Ariana, if people want to follow you, obviously they can follow the CHP Instagram at Complete Human Performance. Where can they follow you personally at?
At running_peaches on Instagram. It just, if you look at my profile, it just says that I'm bad at everything, and that's how you know it's me.
You can follow me at Durazio Anthony. Not that I go through phases of posting. I'll probably post more with Crucible Prep.
Yes.
And us actually moved into a new house. And there's a new background for this
I'm
episode.
so excited for you.
Yes. You do not get to know where I live though. She does, but you don't.
It's because I'm going to send you presents.
If you're interested in signing up for the Lone Wolves and supporting that wolf rehabilitation center that Ariana and Alex volunteer at, you can find the link to the sign up on the CHP Instagram. Just go to the link tree. It's in there, right? I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you go to our link tree in the CHP Instagram, you will find a link there. You'll also find a link to the CHP Crucible template. I'm sure as I tell Ariana to put it up there, make sure it's there for all of you to click on.
Oh yeah.
And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, obviously you can go through the link tree there as well to go one-on-one coaching. If you're like, yeah, I want actually direct one-on-one coaching because I don't know how to balance it all. And the template's, a little bit too generic for me. Mm-hmm. That's fine. We'd love to have you. Ariana's a great coach. I'm moderately good coach. Oh, okay. Thank you. We'd be happy to have you. All right, folks, that's it for this month. We will see you in August. Hopefully we'll see you for the Wolf Run, Lone Wolf Run, no Lone Wolves Run. And after that, then it's sort of the prep for the Crucible. We're excited to see you. Ariana will probably start a hashtag. Forget what it was last year. So you can just tag yourself in that hashtag if you are starting to prep as well. And we'll share you on Instagram and do all that fun stuff. Okay?
Yeah, please.
All right. Peace out, everyone.
Bye.